very important. So in today's session, sir, what are we going to learn? Okay, in today's session, we are going to talk about a beautiful topic. Okay, the beautiful topic is nothing but variables. Okay, what is the topic we're going to discuss today? It's variables. Sir, what are variables, sir? It's a very simple and an underrated topic. Okay, we don't give a lot of priority to this topic because we think, oh, it's very easy. But without variables here, working with a Java program becomes very difficult. Okay, so what is a variable, sir? I will tell you. Okay, so whenever we talk about a variable, okay, let me write it down over here. Okay, so let me write it down over here. So whenever we talk about a variable is a container in order to store some data or information. Okay, so this is the meaning of variable. What is a variable? Variable is a container in order to store some data or information. Got the clarity here? For example, sir, I want to store some data, sir. What is the data? So I'll tell. I want to store the age of a person. So what will I tell? Age equals to 20. So what did you understand? The value 20 is getting assigned or initialized into a variable called as age. So internally, you know what happened? Internally, a container got created. What is that container name? That container name is age. Within that container, the value 20 is getting initialized. So this is LHS, left hand side, and this is RHS, right hand side. Always initialization or assigning the values will happen from RHS to LHS here. Okay. Similarly, if I want to store the height of a person, okay, if I want to store the height of a person, what will I tell here? I will tell height equals to 5.8. So now again, what are you trying to understand, sir? The value 5.8 is getting assigned or initialized into a variable called as height. Okay, it's getting initialized from RHS to LHS. So what is a variable? Variable is just a container. Okay, what is the container name here? The container name is height. And what is that container storing? The container is storing the value called as 5.8 here. So what are variables basically, guys? Variables are just a repository. Okay, it's a place wherein I can store some data or information. Got it? This is all about variables. But now here we have a small challenging situation. Okay, sir, what is that situation, sir? Okay, now in variable, I am trying to store some data. See, 20 is a non-decimal numeric value, 5.8 is a decimal numeric value, right? So if I'm trying to store some kind of data into a variable, I need to explicitly tell what type of data. Until and unless I tell what type of data, here the execution will not happen. So therefore, we have a concept called as data types. What is the concept? We have a concept called as data types. So what are data types over here? Just a moment, guys, just a moment. So now what was I trying to tell here? I was trying to tell here, whenever we're trying to store some kind of data, we need to explicitly tell what type of data, right? For that reason, we have a concept called as data types. Okay. So what are data types, sir? Okay, I'll explain it over here. Okay. So whenever we talk about data types, let me show it to you. One moment. Okay. So data types are used to indicate the type of data stored into a variable. Okay, so this is the meaning of data types. So what are data types, guys? Data types are used to indicate the type of data stored into a variable. If I'm trying to store a non-decimal numeric value, I need to explicitly tell what type of data. If I'm trying to store a decimal value, I need to explicitly tell what type of data. Until and unless I tell, the execution will never happen. Okay. For that reason, we have various data types. Okay. We have many data types here. So the first set of data types which you will see is something called as non-decimal numeric values. In order to store non-decimal numeric values, we come across many data types. Okay. What are those data types here? What are those data types here? Okay. So those data types are, okay, byte. First one is byte. Second one is short. Third one is int. And the fourth one is long. Sir, in order to store non-decimal numeric values, we come across four data types. What are those? Byte, short, int, long. Sir, what is the necessity of four data types, sir? Only one was sufficient, no, sir. But they vary. There is a change with respect to their memory size. Okay. When I talk about byte, it is used to allocate 1 byte of data, which will make about how many bits? 8 bits of data. Okay. Short is used to store 2 bytes of data, which will make about 16 bits. Okay. So similarly, int and long. Int is used to store 4 bytes of data, which will make about 32 bits. Long is used to store, 8 bytes of data, which will make about 64 bits here. Okay. So this is the major important concept which we need to understand here. Got the clarity? But the most famous and the default data type is int here. So int is the famous and the default data type. Got the clarity? Sir, when you talk about the memory size, it means it's very simple, guys. When I talk about bits, the memory allocated, it is 8 bits. Okay. So here I am supposed to allocate how many bits here? 8. Okay. So this is what we are supposed to understand. See, 8 bits are allocated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 bits of data are allocated here. When I tell 1 byte, it's one block. That block is nothing but consisting of 8 bits here. Okay. So when I talk about byte, it's a very small data. Int, a little larger data. Byte, short, little larger. Int, the bigger than that. Long, it is used to store the largest data here. Okay. If you have very small amount of data, we'll make use of byte. A little larger than that, short. A little more larger than that, int. If I want to store a huge amount of data, it is long here. But the most commonly used data type is int because the memory management is dynamic in Java here. Similarly, sir, if I want to store, okay, the second set, okay, if I want to store decimal numeric values, what is the requirement? Sir, my requirement is to store decimal numeric values. Okay, what am I supposed to do, sir? In order to store decimal numeric values, we have two data types. Okay, float, this is fifth, and this is sixth, double. Okay, float and double. Sir, why two data types, sir? Only one was sufficient, no, sir? The reason is because they vary. There is a change with respect to their data type, memory size here. Float means it is used to store 4 bytes of data. Okay, which will make how many bits here? 32 bits of data here. Okay, and double is used to store 8 bytes of data, which will make about 64 bits here. But the most commonly used data type here is double. Okay, in other languages you might tell float. But the default data type in Java is, it is double here. Got the clarity? So this is called as, okay, this is called as decimal numeric values. Now, if I want to store, okay, if I want to store true or false, what is the requirement? My requirement is I want to store true or false. So if I want to store true or false here, I have one more requirement. What is it? The third part. Okay. Your requirement is what? You have to store either true or false. Okay, now This true or false is interpreted as 1 or 0 here. True means 1, false means 0. So in order to store true or false here, we have a data type. What is the seventh data type here? We have it as Boolean. Boolean is the data type used to store true or false. And what is the memory size of Boolean? The memory size of Boolean is 1 bit. Why 1 bit? Because it is used to store 1 or 0. Okay, 1 means true, 0 means false. It is used to allocate what? Only 1 bit of data here. Okay, so this is with respect to Boolean. So we have two more remaining things. What are those two more remaining things, sir? So now my requirement is to store a single character. What is your requirement? Sir, my requirement is to store a single character. If I want to store a single character, I will come across the data type called as char. Okay, what is the data type? The data type is char. Within char is used to allocate 2 bytes of data, which will make about how many bits here? 16 bits. Okay, now you will get confused. In other languages, it is 1 byte, but in Java, it is 2 bytes, 16 bits. Okay, so now whenever you have char data, okay, you should always enclose the data in single quotation, single quotes. Okay, never forget this data here, single quotations here. Okay, whenever you have a character data, single data, you have to enclose it within single quotations here. Okay, and the last and the famous data type which we have with respect to Java is my necessity. Okay, I'll tell you my necessity. I want to store a sequence of characters. What is your requirement? You want to store a sequence of characters. If you want to store a sequence of characters, we come across the famous data type called as string. Okay, string is the data type used to store a set of characters, but it does not have any memory size. Why? I will tell you later. It does not have any memory size. And whenever you talk about string, always enclose the data within double quotations. Okay, double quotes here. Okay, so don't forget about this data here, double quotes. Okay, so enclose it within double quotations here. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand with respect to string here. Okay, now, but we understood so many important things here. But there is one important note which I want to tell. Okay, one important note that everyone should understand. Note, what is that note, sir? Java is case sensitive. Okay, I told you this point, right? Java is case sensitive. Sir, what do you mean by case sensitive, sir? What do you mean by case sensitive, sir? Lowercase characters are not equal to uppercase characters. Lowercase a will have a different meaning and uppercase a will have a different meaning. They are not same. Similarly, lowercase p is not equal to uppercase p. It will have a different meaning and this will have a different meaning. Why? I will talk about it in detail here later. Okay, na? Clear? This is all about the entire process, guys. Okay, so this is a beautiful topic, trust me, guys. Okay, it's a very underrated topic here, but once when you know it, it becomes very easy for our understanding perspective. Okay, now clear everyone with this process here. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand when it comes to variables. So what are variables, guys? Variables are containers. Okay, variables are nothing but containers in order to store some data. If I want to store some data, I have to always come across variables here. But there is, always assigning will happen from RHS to LHS. We know that. But if I'm trying to store any type of data here, I need to explicitly tell what type of data. Until and unless I tell what type of data, the execution will never happen. So that's the reason I have a concept called as data types. So what are data types? It's an indication. Oh, this is the type of data I'm going to store. Okay. I'm explicitly telling what type of data, and I'm also telling the memory size to be allocated. Okay, now. So now first requirement is, sir, I want to store non-decimal numeric values. But which all data types can I use? Byte, short, int, long. Okay, and int is the default data type, and the difference between all the four data types are memory size. Okay, now sir, we understood this. If I want to store decimal numeric values, sir, float and double. And the difference is memory size. And double is the most famous and the default data type for decimal numeric values. If I want to store true or false, 1 or 0 internally interpreted, it's Boolean. So Boolean data, I mean size is 1 bit because it's either 1 or 0. It's 1 bit. Okay. Now your requirement. Sir, I want to store a set of characters, sir. Okay. Then it's string. Set of characters, sequence of characters, it is string. Okay. And it always, you have to enclose the data in double quotes. And Java is case sensitive, guys. So therefore it will always start from uppercase yes. Okay, na? And if I want to store a single character, char. And the memory size is 2 bytes, 16 bits. And enclose the data in single quotations. So this is all about variables and data types. I hope you understood this particular topic in a beautiful manner. Okay, I hope you got the basic idea about this entire topic, right? Now, sir, we understood variables, sir. We understood data types, sir. But do we have something called as declaration and initialization? Your answer is absolutely yes. Okay, so we have to understand something called as variable declaration and initialization. We understood variables separately, data types separately. We have to integrate both. Okay, that is when a lot of things will become easier for me. So the first syntax which I will be talking about is something called as variable declaration. Okay, there is something called as variable declaration. So I told you yesterday, sir, Java is very easy. Why? Because we always have something called as syntax. Once we follow the syntax, a lot of things will become easy. Okay, so the syntax is you have to specify the data type, you have to specify the variable name, and you have to terminate within semicolon. You have to terminate within semicolon. Got the clarity? So can we do example number 1? First example? Yes, sir. My first example is I want to store the age of an person. I want to store the age of a person. So in order to store the age of a person, the data type is int. Why? Sir, I want to age meaning it's a non-decimal numeric value. So it is int. And the variable name will be age. And I will terminate using semicolon. Internally, what will happen here? Internally, one container will get created. And what is that container name? Age. And that age will store a non-decimal numeric value. Why? Because the data type is int here. Similarly, my necessity, one more necessity. Sir, I want to store the height of a person. If I want to store height, it's a decimal value. I can make use of either float or double. But the most commonly used data type, default data type is double. Double, and the variable name is height, and I terminate using semicolon, right? So therefore internally what happened again? Internally one more container got created. Okay, what is that container name? That container name is height. And what is it going to store? A decimal numeric value. How did you confirm? Sir, data type double. So it is decimal numeric value. So we have understood how do we declare a variable. Okay, we have understood what? How do we declare a variable? But that's not sufficient enough. Why? First half is variable declaration, and the second half is we have to understand something called as variable initialization. First half is declaration and the second half is variable initialization. So we have to understand this particular topic here. Got it? Okay, sir. We will understand. How do we initialize it, sir? Simple. As I told you, the syntax is very easy. Okay. Syntax, you have to give the variable name equals to, you have to give the value and terminate using semicolon. So now what is happening over here? So first is declaration, second is initialization, right? So first you have declared a variable, right? So you have to initialize it over here. So initialization is age equals to 25. So what did you understand, sir? The value 25 is getting assigned into a container called as age. So 25 got initialized into a container called as age here. Similarly, height, okay, equals to, I write it as 5.5. So what is your understanding? Sir, the value 5.5 got initialized into a variable called as height here. The value 5.5 got initialized. So the first half is declaration and the second half is initialization. So first you need to declare a variable, then you need to initialize a variable. Okay, now this is the syntax. But sir, we are doing it separately, sir. Declaration separately we are doing, initialization separately we are doing. But is it possible to do it in a single line, sir? 101% possible. Okay, we can do this in a single line as well. Sir, how, sir? Syntax number 3. Okay, we can do it in a single line as well. So that is nothing but we can declare and initialize in a single line. How is that possible, sir? I will tell you. Okay, variable declaration and initialization in a single line. Is it possible? 101% possible. Sir, how, sir? Can you tell, sir? Simple. Syntax. We have to concentrate on the syntax. The syntax goes like this. Data type, variable name equals to value. If you could closely observe, sir, it's a combination of declaration. See, the first half is declaration. Okay, it's a combination of declaration and the second half is initialization. So the first half is declaration and the second half is initialization. So when we combine both of it, it becomes in a single line. So now can we do it here? Yes, sir, we can do it. Example number 1. Okay. Now I want to store the marks of a student. How will I tell here? Int is the data type, marks is the variable name, equals to, he has scored 99 marks. Okay, done. So what did you understand? So the value 99 is getting stored into a variable called as marks and the data type is int, indicating a non-decimal numeric value. Got it? Similarly, sir, I want to store your name or my name. Okay, if I want to store your name or my name, the variable name is name. Okay, equals to, I want to store the name of a person. The name of a person is Dinga. Okay, I'll take this name here. It's a brand name in J Spiders and Q Spiders. Okay, it's a brand name. Okay, so here we write it as Dinga. But when I write it as Dinga over here, it's a set of characters, sequence of characters, right? So we have to enclose it within double quotations. Why? Sir, it's a set of characters, sir. You enclose it within double quotes. Okay. And what will be the data type? String. Java is case sensitive, so it is uppercase, yes. Got the clarity? String is an indication I am trying to store a set of characters, and Dinga is a set of characters enclosed within double quotes. Okay. Similarly, if I want to store, okay, a character value, see, I'll take the variable as gender. Okay, gender equals to, I give it as M. It's an indication it is male, but a single character should be enclosed within single quotes, and the data type will behave as what? The data type is cat. So what did you understand here? Sir, if it is a non-decimal numeric value, int. Decimal numeric value, double. A set of characters in double quotes, string. A single character in single quotes, it's char. Similarly, you can use it for, okay, you can use it for Boolean also. So you can take the data type as Boolean, okay, x equals to, you can either store it as true or you can also store it as false here. It doesn't matter. True or false is an indication that I am trying to store a Boolean value. True or false, it's already predefined. So that is nothing but a Boolean value. So where do we use Boolean, guys? See, whenever in order to take decisions, okay, like if the condition is true, do something. If the condition is false, do some other thing. So whenever I want to take some decision, I will always make use of the data here. Okay, so this is all about the entire process here. Okay, we just need to understand, okay, how good, the implementation happens. So once you understand, it becomes very easy here. This is all about the entire process. But I have to do one more small topic for you. Okay, sir, what is that small topic, sir? See here. Now, I'll tell you one small issue here. I mean, a tricky part, but wherein a lot of people go wrong here, but I'm not sure why. See, when I tell char x equals to a, okay, I have told char a equals to a. Is it valid? Yes, it is valid. Okay, why? Sir, I am storing a character. Similarly, I can store a special character also. I can store a number also. Okay, I can store a number also. It will behave true. Why? Sir, char is a data type. It is used to store a single character. That single character can be an alphabet, it can be a special character, or it can be a number. It can be anything, a number, special character, or alphabet. But we have to enclose it within single quotes. But what if I write it as A and B in single quotes here? Is it valid? No, it's not valid. Why? Sir, A and B are two characters. How can you write it within single quotes? When I tell character, it's always a single quote. This is not valid. Similarly over here, I can do one more way. How, sir? How, sir? See, I can take string s equals to, I can write it as Java. See, it's a set of characters in double quotes. Java, Java, set of characters. But I can also write alphanumeric characters. X, 1, 2, Y in double quotes. It's possible. Why? If you talk about employee ID, your roll numbers or USN, right? It's all alphanumeric characters, no? Alphabets and numbers. You can write it within strings. And even strings can have special characters. See, X dot exclamation 2 4 Y. So string can also have any type of data. It can have only alphabets, it can have alphanumeric characters, it can also have alphanumeric plus special characters. It can also have any type of data. You can also have only numbers. Okay, but enclose that numbers in double quotes. Even this is valid. So in simple terms, string can also store all the type of data. Only numbers, only special characters, alphanumeric, alphabets, anything for that matter. But enclose it within double quotes. If you write anything within double quotes, it will automatically behave as string here. So these are all valid. Why? Because sir, double quotes, double quotes, double quotes, everything you are writing in double quotes. So everything will behave as a string here. Okay, so this is all about, okay, how do we declare a variable, initialize a variable, and together, and I have spoken about variables and data types as well.